Welcome back to StartupHakk. With my 25 years of development experience, here at StartupHakk, we turn beginners into full-stack developers in as little as 3 months. So welcome back today, and in today's video, we're going to dive into modern software development with .NET Core Framework, a powerful and versatile platform for building robust and scalable applications. One common challenge developers face is efficiently managing data transfer between different layers of application. This is where a data transformation object, or DTO, come into play. So let's go ahead and dive into our video today and get started. All right, so traditionally, developers have used classes to define DTOs, often involving boilerplate code for properties, constructors, comparison methods, and string representations. But what if there was a better way? So today we're going to explore the benefits of using DTOs and demonstrate how records can significantly improve code conciseness, readability, and reliability. We'll enhance the data transformation, the data transport process with a practical coding example. So let's get ready to level up your .NET Core skills. And always, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we try to bring you great content. Also, we always make sure to post the code samples. So this code that I have here always is posted online. Make sure you pull this down because we have hundreds of great samples. And so pull this down and put it to use because it's a lot of really great source code. So let's go ahead and dive into our code today. So traditionally, developers have had a really hard time using different DTOs. And we're going to really dive into how to use records today. So first of all, let's talk about what a DTO is. So a DTO, or a data transformation object, acts as a lightweight container specifically designed for efficient data transfer between various components or layers of the applications. The primary purpose of a DTO is to encapsulate data and transport it from one part of the application to another without exposing the underlying data structures or implementation details. This helps to decouple the data representation from the business logic or database schema, providing a clear separation of concerns. So why do we use DTOs in .NET Core? Traditional class structures often get cumbersome and unwieldy. With DTOs, you can tailor the data structure to meet the exact need of the data transfer scenario. This ensures that only the essential information is transmitted. I know a lot of times I'll see developers that leak data out into the front end. So by using these DTOs and records, you can actually make sure that you're only giving the data that certain parts of the application need. All right, so we're going to start by looking at the student entity. So in this example, we'll illustrate the use of a data transformation object, or DTO, by considering a simple scenario involving student information. The student entity class serves as a representation of data retrieval from the data source. So you can see first name, last name, age, etc., right? So this is a pretty simple example. The student DTO class, on the other hand, so let's look at this guy here. Student DTO class is a DTO designed to carry student data between different parts of the application. It mirrors the structure of the student entity class, but does not contain any business logic. So this becomes really important as we then pass it. So the student service. So now as we go to the student service class, we can see some of this get put to use, right? The student service class represents a service responsible for retrieving student information. So you can see that it says get student entity from data source using a student ID, which then brings back a student entity class. We can then map the student DTO and the mapping of the entity to the DTO and return just the DTO object. This allows us that if we wanted to do some business logic in here, it would allow us to do that without leaking any of that data in here. So maybe let's say that we had sensitive data that didn't need to be brought to the front end. This would allow us to be able to then map this accordingly. So we can see the method to retrieve the student information from the data source. We can assume there's a method to fetch student information from a data source. For this example, we just create a mock method. We then map it here. Now, this is the mock method to retrieve student information from a data source. So you can see that the get student from data source, in a real world scenario, this method would fetch the data from a database or another source. For simplicity, we just mock up the data right here. Now, we then have the mapping method to convert a student entity to a student DTO. And this is then where we can map these two. Now, this would allow us that if we had some sensitive data between these two entity classes, so let's say that this one, the student entity actually had like social security number, for instance, because we needed to do something based on that social security, or let's say it had date of birth or something where we wanted to hide some of this. This would allow us to then be able to perform that business logic here, and then only return the necessary mapping data. So the get student info method fetches student entity from a data source. And so in conclusion here, we can see by leveraging the DTOs in .NET Core, a developer can streamline data transformation, enhancing security, and promote modular development. The use of DTOs foster a more efficient, scalable, and maintainable code base, particularly in scenarios where data needs to traverse different layers of applications. I know as I've worked with more junior developers, I've always required them to create these. And a lot of times they'll be like, why am I creating these two classes that have the exact same properties? And the reason is because that way you can ensure that any type of DTO is the only class that would ever be brought to certain part of the applications. And so this allows you to be able to abstract away or make sure that these mappings are done correctly. As I've worked with these over the years, this is definitely a very important thing that I've taught to a lot of junior developers. And here at StartupHakk, we love training software developers. We take developers who have very little experience and turn them into into beginners of full stack developers in as little as 3 months. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we try to bring you great content. Also, if you disagree with me on something, leave a comment down below. I love having a healthy discussion. If there's one thing I've done as a software developer for 25 years, it's been a lot of healthy discussions with a lot of other engineers. So we will catch you guys next time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we bring you lots of great tutorials and tips that every developer should know. See you next time.